Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today on Dynamics 365 customer engagement. My name is Finlay Carmichael, and I'm going to be leading the webinar today. And we've got other members of staff, Cameron, Aileen, etc., on the webinar as well. So if you have any questions, queries, please reach out to any of us, and you'll obviously we'll send details after the webinar. We've got 45 minutes today. So I'll push right on, quite a bit to show you today, hopefully which will be of interest. We're going to focus on Dynamics 365 customer engagement for sales, given that the title today is really about smarter selling, but we are going to give you just a quick flavour of customer service element as well, just so you can see how AI has been integrated into that as well, and give you a flavour of the sort of big picture on Dynamics 365 customer engagement as well. So just click through here. Bear with me one second. Get the PowerPoint to go forward. So my name, as I say, is Finlay Carmichael, Head of Membership Sales, but I've been working with Dynamics 365 for the last 15 years, since version 3 of Dynamics CRM, as it was then known. And so I've been working with it a very long time. Along with a lot of the Kick team, we've been working with it for that period of time, 15 years plus. So we've got a lot of experience in this, and we've really seen this product evolve over the years. And what I'd like to start with is, I promise you I've only got a few PowerPoint slides, and we're going to jump into a real live demo today, but wanted to spend a little bit of time just laying out a little bit of background and why choosing the right CRM solution is so important. And really the hidden cost of not having a modern, advanced AI-powered CRM system, and really the idea of, if you're having to manually create your content for your CRM, things like emails, etc., not taking advantage of the productivity tools that we have today in modern CRM, then really you possibly are missing out from a productivity point of view. And that's what I hope to get across in the live demo today. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the key challenges to implementing any CRM system, some of the things you might want to consider if it's early stages on your journey of a CRM implementation. And we'll give you a little bit of background about our experience, people that we work with, and also how we think you can get some early wins in terms of things to consider to overcome those barriers. Happy to take questions if we have time at the end. If we don't have time, then by all means, please email me. I'll pop the email out. I'll get Cameron to pop the email out to everyone. So if you have any questions after the webinar I can't answer, I'll certainly come back to you. So just some of the things that challenges that you might face with a legacy CRM. These are some of the typical things that we see, but one of the number one challenges with any CRM solution historically has been poor user adoption and utilization. And really the key thing here is making sure that we have everybody on board that's going to use the CRM, so that we're building up one source of truth. But what we've got to make sure is that every member of staff feels that they're getting something out of the CRM, that it makes their job easier, that they have their information at their fingertips. So we get people on board by proving to them that CRM can deliver. But that needs an organization-wide campaign to make sure that we get everybody bought into the CRM in the first place. We have a top-down rollout of that CRM, and also making sure that people can actually see the benefits, and that is absolutely crucial. And hopefully when you see the productivity tools I'm showing you today, we can get people on board with that. We also see if people are using a basic CRM, they might have data in spreadsheets, they have data elsewhere, they have different systems, it's not integrating with Outlook, so they've got emails in one place, they have other data in CRM, they have other things in Excel which are separated from the CRM. We need a CRM solution that brings all of that together. And using Microsoft 365 Customer Engagement gives you the integration with Outlook, gives you the integration with SharePoint, brings all of those elements together so that we can actually have a joined up CRM. And we're not asking people to send email in a different application. They can send email from Outlook where they work in their email, but they can track that email directly into CRM, and we'll have a look at that today. We want people to be able to get insights into their data, and that's where things like artificial intelligence can summarize the data for us without having to read through screeds of information. We've got that information at our fingertips, and CRM is helping us by generating those summaries there and then. Again, we'll have a look at that today as we go. And poor return on investment. It's not, if it's not driving your sales, if it's not helping you get more sales, if it's not helping you improve the communications with your customer, which means that you're not getting the benefit of CRM. So all of those things together drive that return on investment with more sales, better customer experience. Dynamics 365 is a family of business applications, and what we're looking at today was originally called Dynamics CRM, is now called Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement, because it's more than just a basic CRM system. And there's a range of apps or applications that come with customer engagement, and you can license these separately or together. The ones that we're going to be focused on mostly today is sales, because we said this was mostly about sales in the 45 minutes. But we also have customer service, which is for things like dealing with customer questions, customer issues, and how do we deal and respond to customer, maybe customer complaints as well. So the idea of sales and customer service going together. Those are the key applications. We do also have marketing application to allow us to market out to customers. We can also build our own apps on top of Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. And there's other applications for things like field service and project service automation. We're not going to cover those today, just from a timing point of view. Customer engagement is about more than just a CRM and sales. It's about improving that engagement with your customers, communicating with their customer at the right time in the right way. It's about empowering your employees with the right information at their fingertips so they can make informed decisions. It's about making automating processes whenever we can to make things faster and to basically take away the chores from your staff. So we're saving staff time, and we are transforming our product. So we are using that information to actually improve the customer service that we have and the products that we have on offer, and personalizing those potentially to customers as well. So all of these things together help us deliver on business transformation, and that's really the heart of everything in Dynamics. AI sits on top of this to help us automate all of those things and provide the right information and give us the insight. So AI really accelerates this business transformation journey. Okay, let's get into the demo and then we'll come back to the key challenges. Okay, so what I have here is Dynamics 365 for sales. And the idea is that Dynamics 365 gives us access to a range of apps. As I've mentioned, we're going to start on the Sales Hub today. We'll also have a quick look at the Customer Service Hub. But we can also write our own business applications for our own specific purpose. Maybe you've got a database of assets, maybe you wanted to record annual leave. The great thing about the platform I'm showing you today, not only can we use it with the out-of-the-box sales app, the out-of-the-box customer service app, but we can also build our own database applications on this interface as well, which typically we tailor this to every client's specific requirements. When I'm in the Sales Hub, I get everything sales on the left-hand side, and I've got a nice dashboard here. The idea is you can have as many dashboards as you want, but again, overcoming one of the issues with legacy CRMs, pulling information together from the underlying data in the CRM to present the information that's relevant to the member of staff. So this is a typical sales agent looking at their personal dashboard with their open opportunities that they're working on. What's the value of the opportunities they're working on? What stage in the sales process are they at? How many leads do I have assigned that I need to work on? What are my top opportunities? What opportunities have I closed so far this year? And I have some AI here, which would make some suggestions if there's things coming up that are of relevance to me. If I'm a sales manager, I get a different view of the world. I get the sales performance dashboard. I'm no longer looking at a personal sales pipeline. I'm now looking at the sales pipeline for the whole organization. I can see goals and where we should be in terms of sales. We should be on track. We should be at 45,000 sales for the month. if based on today's day, aiming to get £100,000 worth of sales by the end of the month. In terms of the company goal for today's target on the overall revenue is 136,000. The total for the year is 300,000. So again, we can set goals, see where we are against those goals, and see if we're on track or behind track in terms of those trends. So just a little bit, some of the items you might see on a dashboard. If you're looking at the personal dashboard, you would also see things like, for example, pardon me, go into sales activity dashboard. I'll also see things that are assigned to me that require my attention. So I might have activities, phone calls I've got to follow up on, proposals I've got to send, emails I need to send. So if I have things assigned to me that I need to follow up on from any of my opportunities, the system is prompting me to follow up on those as well. Dynamics has the one source of truth. So the idea is we have one central place for all of our contacts or individuals that we deal with. I can have those split into various views. So if I want to see all contacts in the database, in this test database here, I can say show me all contacts. If I want to see additional information on those people, for example, what city they're based in, for example, I can add those fields to that view nice and quickly. So again, people can build their own views, build their own queries. Maybe I said, okay, I've got address one city, address to see whether that's populated. And then what I might want to do is filter that further. So I said, well, actually, I want to filter that by people who are based in London. So really easy to query the database, and that applies across all the views that we see. So I get all of the contacts based in London. If I want to then save that as a new view, I can say save that as a new view with people that are based in London. If we drill down into an individual, we can see this individual here. We'll see their details on them. This person's head of corporate compliance. We can see the details on that particular person. I should stress this is all made up data that we're having a look at today in the system as well. You'll see, I'll come back to the contacts in a second. We can also do a database of accounts or organization that deal with it. All of our customers, all of our prospect organizations. We might have it broken down again into different types of organizations. Again, create as many views, including maybe people that are based in London, Glasgow, etc. If we go into the Bank of Scotland record here, again, just made up data. I can see I've got Sean is the owner of that record, so he's the account manager looking after this particular record. We can see that they're part of Lloyds Banking Group. I can see that Edgar is the main contact. I can see the other people that work at the Bank of Scotland. I can have as many tabs on these forms, again, tailored to your specific requirements. So again, the information that we see in all of these forms can be tailored to your business's requirements or organization's requirements. Again, the tabs here, the information that we see, completely configurable. So I can see additional information. What's the billing address on this? Do they have any contact preferences? Do they have any sub-accounts or sub-offices? Again, I can see key address information, phone information, email information, key information. You'll see in the middle here, we have a thing called the timeline. And the timeline is where we can capture any key interactions that we have with that business, or indeed anybody that works at this business. So for example, there's been an interaction with Finlay, and Finlay works at the Bank of Scotland, so it is showing on the Bank of Scotland timeline. So again, I'm seeing an overall picture of the communications and interactions that are happening with this particular account. You'll also see the first thing here where AI comes in. This is where Microsoft are saying, well, yeah, people might want to skim down this timeline and see information in terms of all the emails and phone calls, etc. That's going to take me quite a long time to read. Much, much quicker if Copilot can summarize the information that's in the timeline and give me an up-to-date summary of what's happening with this particular account. So without having to read and go into all the emails and phone calls that have been recorded, I can see, they're attending the club conference, and they made a couple of payments in April and March. They've also included visits to the website, and they've been opening our emails. So I see how well this customer is engaging. Key thing about having that one view of the customer as well, as my colleagues record things like phone calls, emails, etc., I can see what's happening. So if this customer phones up, maybe Edgar phones up, I can see what's happening from other interactions that we have with this particular customer. So that's just a little bit of first thing of showing you a little bit of AI there. Okay. If we then drill down into Edgar's record, we can navigate into Edgar's record and we can see everything to do with Edgar as an individual. So he's head of IT at the Bank of Scotland. We've got a telephone number there for Edgar, his email, etc. Again, we've got the timeline, but this time the timeline is just the interactions that we've had with Edgar. So again, I can see all the interaction that we have in terms of the timeline here. So he's interested in mergers acquisitions. He was invited to the corporate screening event, and maybe he's doing some charity work in a care home, and we're doing some charity work, and we've invited him to come along as a potential sponsor, something like that. So the idea, I'm seeing at a glance the interactions that we have with Edgar. Again, we can have more information about Edgar's email, his phone call, his preferences, again, tailored to your specific requirements. Again, AI suggesting who knows who, so it's saying Edgar may know this C2 admin account. Again, the system is learning based on the interactions that you have with each other, etc., and it will be suggesting relationships that this person may have with other relationships that you've not manually recorded. Again, I can see the sales opportunities that Edgar is involved in, so I can see that there. And again, Sean is the person that looks after this particular record. Okay, so a little bit about accounts and contacts. So having that one central database of all the people that you're dealing with in your organization, one central database of all of the organizations that you're dealing with. Let's get into the sales process though, and let's have a look at leads and opportunities. So we might have an early stage inquiry coming on our website, or maybe someone phones up and says, I'm interested in buying a particular product, or maybe we've met someone at a particular trade show, etc. So we can see we've got a couple of open leads in this test system here. I can go into the one on Stephen Ballmer here and see what somebody met him at a trade show. And again, it's been recorded by myself. I've given this lead a warm rating. If I have any phone calls with Steve, I can record the detail. I had a phone call. Maybe I have to follow up with a task. Maybe I want to send him an email, or I'm going to arrange a Teams meeting or a face-to-face appointment with him. Again, I can record all of those things. So I can say, yeah, I had a phone call with Steve just to see if it's of interest, you know. So I did a follow-up phone call after the trade show, and it was an outgoing call. It took about 30 minutes, and I called to qualify the lead. Okay, so I found out if he had budget. I found out if he was serious about taking things to the next level after we met at the trade show, and I had recorded the details of the phone call. What I can then do is choose to qualify the lead, which will effectively move it along in the process. And just move this back here. I'm going to set this as the active stage so we can start this at the very beginning. And what I can do is say, yeah, I've met Steve at this trade show. And what I can choose to do is say, yeah, I've recorded on the phone call his purchase timescale, his estimated budget. So the fields that you may have to qualify your leads may be different. And again, that's the beauty of Dynamics 365. It can be tailored to your specific requirements. And what I can do is, if it turns out that Steve doesn't want to take it any further, I can disqualify him at the lead stage. It means that Steve's not in my database. He's not cluttering up my database. If it was a joke inquiry from the web, I'm not cluttering my database up with it. But if it is serious and it is a real opportunity, what I can do is say, yeah, I'd like to qualify this particular lead. What Dynamics 365 will do at this point is it will say, actually, I'm going to create a new contact for you in Stephen Ballmer. What I'll say is, well, actually, I found out when I was qualifying before, I'll say he works at Microsoft, and I put his details in for Microsoft, etc. Now, when I qualify it, not only is it going to create a new contact for Stephen Ballmer in my database, but it's also going to create a new account called Microsoft. Now, if Microsoft was already in my CRM, I could say at the qualify stage, map it to an existing account. but the system is going to help me. Instead of me having to create an account, create a contact, create a new sales opportunity from a single lead, Dynamics will create all of those records for me appropriately. So I'll just hit qualify on that. And what I should now have is a new sales opportunity, a new contact for Stephen Ballmer in my database, and I should have a new account for Microsoft. And it's just telling me a little bit about what it's done there, and hit qualify, and it will say the lead is now qualified. And I'm at the next stage of the sales process. And I'll explain that in a second. But just before I do that, we can see I'm no longer on the lead. I'm on the opportunity now. I can see I've got a new sales opportunity. It's £10,000 and it's in pound sterling. Again, if you're trading in different currencies, it's fully multilingual, fully multi-currency. So again, if you need your CRM to work in different time zones, different currencies, different locations, all fully supported by Microsoft in the cloud. So I can see I've got a new contact there, Stephen Ballmer. I can see that it will also, if I click through to Stephen Ballmer, we'll see that Stephen has been associated with a new account, which should be Microsoft. Let's have a look. Don't see that there, which always love a live demo, but we'll have created Microsoft in the background as well. And you'll see there that, again, the information I've taken from the qualification is populated onto there. You'll also see on the timeline, it's got a little bit thing there, and the parent name for the lead is Microsoft. So I think it's associated with an existing Microsoft account. So you'll see there then we've got a new opportunity. And at the top here, we have a guided sales process. So you'll see, for example, I can go back to the lead. The lead's done its job and it's qualified. So that's where it came from, or this opportunity originated from. I'm now on to the opportunity, and the stages that you go through for a sales opportunity, again, can be tailored to your specific requirements. So every organization will have a slightly different sales process. So this guided process will vary for your organization. You can also have different sales processes to reflect the different types of products that you might have. So frequently we're asked to do a tender sales process, or maybe a quick sales process. Maybe it's for a small product, small price product, don't want a complex sales process. That can have a simple process. So the sales process that you see here can be tailored to your products with different sales different sales processes for your different products. This one here, I'm developing the opportunity, then I'm moving to the proposal stage, then I'm moving to the close stage. What if I've got some documentation? Maybe somebody's sending me Steve sends me a tender document. What I can do, again, we talked about the integration with different applications. I can say I'd like to store the documents that Steve sent me against this particular opportunity. This is where the integration with SharePoint comes in, and you can see here it's saying, actually, here's a view into SharePoint. It's created a folder in SharePoint for me for this particular opportunity. And what I can do is say, yeah, I'm going to upload some documents to SharePoint. But I don't have to go into SharePoint to do that. I can do that directly from CRM, find the file that I would like to upload. So we'll take this quote summary here and just hit OK. Upload that into the CRM system and into SharePoint. So that's now in SharePoint. Anyone that has access to SharePoint will have access to that document as well. Great thing about using SharePoint for this is I'm going to have version control on these documents. I'm going to have a powerful SharePoint search on these documents as well. Maybe I write my proposal later. I'll upload the proposal document to that as well. And I can say I'll upload any supporting documentation there. If it is a product, and maybe you have a price list for your product, may not apply to everyone, but we can actually specify a price list for our products, and we can have different price lists for different elements. So, for example, I've got a price list here for Lloyd's Banking Group, so you may have customer-specific price lists as well. If I just take a membership price list, so I've got a little demo for some membership products here. Again, just search for that. So I'll just take the default price list here. So that's the pricing levels I would like to use. And apologies, let me just save that record before I try and add something to it. What I'm going to do is build up a little quote. So I can say I'd like to add some products to this. So let's say I'm going to add a product again. So the person's interested in buying something in particular. And again, now what it's showing me are the products that are on that particular price list that I selected. So I can say, yeah, they're interested in becoming an associate. The system will say the default price for that is £99. I can choose to override that price if I wish, or give them a manual discount. Hit save and close. Obviously build up the quote with as many things as I want. And then when I'm ready to do so, what I can do is tell the system I'd like to generate and issue a quote out to that customer. And that might include, for example, automatically generating the document with nice branding, with a nice proposal document. Again, the system can generate that for me using some of the out-of-the-box tools, and we also have the Power Platform available to us to automate those processes as well. So from that opportunity I have, I've now created a quote. I can activate that quote, and then I can export it to PDF to give me a PDF version of this quote ready to send to the customer. Customer maybe wants me to revise it, I can revise it. When I'm ready, I can create the order and place the order in the system. So nice and quick, automated systems, taking us all the way through from an early stage inquiry through a guided sales process with checks and balances at each stage in that sales process. If you have interested in doing price lists, we can do price lists with products, and we can generate quotes for those and turn them into orders. Again, we can record all of the comms on those at every stage in the process. We looked a little bit there about integration with SharePoint, but what if we want to do integration with Outlook? So I've got the invite for today's webinar here, and this is where the integration with Outlook really comes into its own. What we can do is I can say I'd like to use Copilot for Sales. So I've got this email, and I decide actually I'd like to get this email into my CRM system. So I can go into Copilot for Sales, and I can see that this has come from customer care at GoToWebinar. If I choose to do so, I can say I'd like to add that contact into my CRM. So if you've received an email from a customer or prospective customer, you're not having to rekey this information into CRM. You can add that contact directly into your CRM using the Outlook information that came in their email. What I can also do is save the email to Dynamics as well, to say I'd like to not only just add this person to CRM, but save this email to CRM, because I don't have to rekey or have any complex copying and pasting. Just save the email directly into the CRM. You'll also notice that the AI has kicked in and it's given me a nice summary of what this email is all about. So if your customer's sending you a long, complex email, again, AI summarizing that email for you. This is really where CRM comes into its own, though, and Copilot for Sales. I can get it to say, draft me an email. What I'd say, I'd like to follow up the webinar with an offer of a personal presentation. Okay, and I'd like you to create a draft for that, please. So it's going to draft me an email, and let's see what that looks like. So it's prepared the draft email, and I can say, okay, that looks good. I can tweak that further. That's a little bit formal for me. I'd really like that to make that a little bit less formal. So what I'll do is I'll just go back, and what I can do is, apologies, I've gone out the wrong thing there, but let me just quickly do that. Reply, make a proposal. Get it to make a proposal this time. And what I should be able to do is always love it when a demo doesn't show you the option. Apologies for this. There should be another option there which I can't quite see at the moment, but I'll just copy that content. Some of the things you can do, and I was hoping to show you there, for example, is once you've made the proposal, what you can also get the system to do is do things like, for example, change the language. You can also tell it to do formal or less formal elements as well. So, but I can also save that summary directly to CRM as well. So very nice features on Copilot just to make it really easy to make you more productive in terms of producing that content there and then. And again, just getting it to help you with drafting. And you can also tell it to change the style of things as well. Maybe a customer's got a complaint or a concern. We can get them to address a concern and get the system to draft that initial email for us. So again, making you much more productive in terms of replying to emails, etc., and getting key information, and got AI right at the heart of that as well. So that's just a little bit about integration with Outlook. That can also you can also track appointments. You'll also see tasks. The information will also go in two directions. So the information will go from Outlook into CRM, but if you create the information in CRM, or one of your colleagues creates the information in CRM, it'll also come to your Outlook. So again, if you've got any tasks assigned to you, things to follow up, those will show up in your Outlook as well for things that you need to follow up on. So it's just a little bit about the Outlook integration as well. We've also got some great marketing features built in, so we can build up marketing lists, marketing campaigns. We can also do things like lead scoring. And again, we can get the AI, or we can build in standard rules to how you would like to score your leads. We've done a lot of work with clients like Adder, where we do sophisticated lead scoring based on things like people's job titles, how they're engaging with your emails, if they're logging into your website or portal. Again, we can even track people on your website and pull that information back into Dynamics 365. So you'll see what visits, for example, people have had to your website as well, and what pages they've been looking at. So again, all of that intelligence building up to give you an overall picture of how that customer is interacting with you. Okay, so that's a little bit on that. Very quickly, before I jump in, I'm conscious we've only got 10 minutes left, so just going to show you a little bit on the customer service side as well. Just because there's a few nice AI things I'd like to show you on there as well, and a little bit more on the timeline, and also how we can ask questions of the system as well. And this applies to sales as well. I'm going to do a natural language search, but you could use a natural language search on the sales side as well. Just a different app this time. We're in the customer service hub, very different view of the world. We're seeing, in this case, all the questions, how many questions, issues, queries have come in from customers. We can access those cases there. Again, we've got access to accounts. We've got a knowledge base, and we can build up a knowledge base. We've got Copilot on the side here, where we can ask it questions, natural language questions, etc. Again, this can apply in the sales app as well, but I could ask, for example, how many cases have been updated this month? Just ask Copilot the question, and it should be able to go away and answer that. So it'll take a second to go and analyze the data, and it'll come back and give me an answer for that. So again, you can ask natural language questions of the data to get the information back. So just give it a second. And it can see there have been 6 cases updated this month. Okay. And then you can see it's then suggesting some other things. Do you want to give a breakdown by case type? How does it compare to last month? Again, without having to do complex queries, we can do natural language questions. Again, we've got write an email. Again, I can get the system to write the emails for me, etc. If I go into cases, let's have a look at cases, and let's have a look at a particular case or issue. And we can see we've got one here. Can you provide me more information on voice over IP? And again, case just showing us key information about who raised it, who's looking after that particular case. We've got a timeline in the middle here for all the interactions with the case. AI will summarize that. So let me just find one. I think we've got one that's got a bit more information on it. Let's go, how do I make a donation? Again, this one's coming from Lloyds Bank. We've got a particular case there. We've got the timeline here. Again, we will have a case summary in terms of the system summarizing the details on this particular case. So the customer inquired how to make a donation, including details regarding a gift aid, the support ticket, email content, and again, it's giving me information about a donation. So Again, you'll see all of the interactions on the timeline there, and we've got other cases that meet the same criteria as well. So you can see that AI is really baked in at every aspect of Dynamics 365 and is there to be your assistant, to make things easier, to make things faster, to make you more productive. So that's just a little bit on the case management side. What I'd like to do now is just flick back to PowerPoint, and I'm just going to summarize a few things. I hope it's given you a flavor in a few minutes in terms of how we can use Dynamics. But let's go back and think a little bit then about some of the key challenges that we have to a successful CRM implementation, and just things that we've learned over the last 15 years plus of implementing CRM solutions. One of the key things, in our opinion, is really that you really need to get executive sponsorship. You need to have the idea that we don't want to have half the company on board. If only a few people are using the CRM and we don't have that one big picture of all the customers and trust in the information is up to date in the CRM and that we've got the latest key things logged, then people will lose confidence. So it's important that we get everybody on board. And the way to get everybody on board is the fact that there is something in the CRM for everyone, that it makes them more productive, helps them get more sales, helps them do their job quicker, provides information at their fingertips. So it's about getting people on board that, hey, CRM makes your life easier, adds value to your job, helps you do your job better. If we can get everybody on board and we've got buy-in from the management team, buy-in from the very top, that this is a key thing that we need to do for the business, then we can hopefully get the foundations in place to a successful CRM rollout. Obviously, you want to ensure that you get the right partner, someone who's got years of experience, implemented lots and lots of CRM successfully, has got great referenceability, and has ideally worked with businesses like yours or in your particular sector. So getting the right partner. And as hopefully you know, Kick has hundreds of implementations with lots of success stories that we can share with you and show how Dynamics could deliver for your particular organization. We need to make sure staff overcome any apprehension that they might have, that they can see how they can get benefit out of the CRM. So staff training is crucial. And part of any implementation, we would work with you on an implementation program as well. And make sure that you've got the post-implementation support, so staff have got that available to them with support consultants available to them. That means that they can get answers to their questions and they can be successful with the CRM. We see a lot of organizations assign what we call CRM champions. That's somebody who might be a little bit more technical within the business or organization, who really likes CRM, enjoys using CRM, and potentially can share that with their colleagues and help their colleagues day to day with any questions. Don't need to do CRM champions, just something in our experience that we've seen that works quite well. We also need to think about how we get people off those legacy siloed systems they've been using, like their spreadsheets. So part of any implementation, we're working with you to understand, where do you have your data stored? What spreadsheets are people using? What other systems are people using? Let's get that data out of those spreadsheets and into that central one place where we can gather everything about that particular customer. And let's replace those siloed data, and let's not have it fragmented. And let's get people bought in to actually saying we're going to move away from those spreadsheets and we're going to use CRM to get that data. We also need to think about joined up system integration. That's where Dynamics comes into its own from the point of view of out of the box. We have integration with all the Microsoft 365 products, Power BI, Power Automate. We've got Excel integration. We've got SharePoint integration. We've got Teams integration. We've got Outlook integration, all as standard. And we have a really flexible modern API, which is a programmer's interface, which allows third parties to integrate. So we've successfully integrated this with account systems. We've integrated this with websites. we've integrated it with all types of applications, which means we can have a very joined up CRM. People apply on the website or fill in an inquiry form on the website, straight into CRM, notify the right salesperson they've got the information at their fingertips. And we need to, as I mentioned, that post-implementation support is crucial so that people are successful, not just initially, but we have that ongoing program. As new versions get rolled out, people are kept up to date as well. Other great thing about going with Dynamics 365 in the cloud, Microsoft doing 2 major updates every year. You're seeing that AI improve all of the time. It's come on leaps and bounds in the last 2 years. They're constantly updating it. They're constantly updating the Dynamics 365 engine. So you make the investment in Dynamics 365, but that is a system that will evolve with you. And those upgrades happen automatically as part of the subscription service. So absolutely crucial to the success of the CRM. Finally, just some of the people that we work with. I've just taken a small selection of clients at different sizes, different scale. We work with smaller organisations like AVMA, who are not for profit, working in the medical space, charity. Also working with very large organisations like HCA Healthcare on a medical CRM with all the patient data. Also, you can go online, apply to have your hip replacement or your knee replacement. Those inquiries go straight from the HCA UK website straight into their CRM, and you can put you in touch with the right consultant at the right time. We're working in the finance sector with people like Hamden Bank. If you're opening up a new current account or you're making a deposit or a mortgage, all of these sales processes are done through Dynamics 365. If you have a bad holiday and you make a complaint on the APTA website, that complaint is going into Dynamics 365 and is being dealt with through Dynamics 365 by their staff. Family Building Society, if you're doing marketing and you want to, you get you're an independent financial advisor, you're getting targeted by territory with the right messaging, personalized experience based on information that they have on you about your broker and the fact that what type of mortgages do you sell, etc., and where do you sell. So you're getting targeted information for your region about the Family Building Society products. Adder, full integration with their website and a partner portal for their resellers and distributors, all pushing and pulling data from Dynamics 365. UK Finance, big membership organisation, again, all of the membership renewals, all the documentation, all of the event booking, all pushed and pulled from Dynamics 365. So Dynamics 365 at the very heart of how these organisations run their business and run their sales operations. So this is a little flavour of some of the clients we work with, some of the projects that we have. I hope today's webinar was useful. That's 11:45. I hope I didn't go too fast. A lot to get into 45 minutes, and I hope today's just given you a flavour of what's possible with Dynamics 365. I'd be happy to take any immediate questions, or please reach out and get in touch with any of us, and happy to try and help. But if anybody wants to put something in the chat, happy to stay on and answer any questions. And for anyone else who's dropping off, thank you very much for attending. I think there's a questions box there, so if anybody does have any questions. No immediate questions. Well, thank you very much again, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Thank you. Goodbye.